Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are with Melissa and we are making a special video on raising awareness about guide dogs. What are guide dogs? Who are they? Why are they needed? The legalities involved, the cost involved, and obviously the emotions involved. So Melissa is going to share all the things with us today to raise awareness about guide dogs.
Well, when I was 29, I woke up with no central vision in my left eye. I was sent to specialists down in Toronto, and no one had ever seen anything like it. They thought it was the coolest thing ever. I had a million tests done, but nobody could figure it out. But just the one eye I could handle. I still had my peripheral vision in it, and I still had the good eye. And then 3 years later, same thing happened to my right eye. What I didn't know was that you could still have some vision and apply for a guide dog. I thought you had to be completely blind, which is false. So I applied and I got to go down to Ottawa for my first guide dog. That would be 8 years ago. And that was Ginger. She was my golden. Most people have seen her around town with me. And the process is a little long and it's a little daunting. They come and they interview you personally. They take videos of you walking to see your gait, to see if you veer, to see, just in general how you walk, and if they have a dog that looks like it would suit you. Which is the funny thing, is to imagine a bunch of strangers sitting around watching you walk down the road. But the one piped up and said, I have the perfect one for her, and I ended up with Ginger, and she was a diva, and I wondered why they paired me with a diva until I realized I too was a bit of a diva.
For sure, yes you are.
Typically they just use labs and retrievers. There are some places that will train poodles for people who have allergies or lung conditions. So I got a golden retriever first time around, and she was stubborn, very stubborn. And this time I just recently went and got my second guide dog, Shadow, and she is a yellow lab, and she is tiny, but she is adorable and feisty.
So Melissa, what are some of the jobs or things Ginger and Shadow do, or Ginger did earlier, and how do they exactly help you and guide you?
Oh, she's like, oh, am I walking? So this is the harness, and when this is on, they know it's time to work. And I hold onto the handle and I give a command and they start walking. If we come to a curb, she will stop and sit, so I know that there's a step down. If we are coming to a door, she'll stop, she'll sit, so I know there's an obstacle. She's supposed to wait whenever I ask her to wait, and just until I say it's time to go. And it's amazing to watch these dogs because they will just sit as long as you make them, and it's sometimes sad too. She'll stop at the top of stairs so that I know that there's a staircase ahead of me. If it's the bottom of the staircase, she will put her front paws up on the first step and stop, and that way I can feel my way up to the next step. And most importantly, she makes sure I don't walk out into traffic or fall off the curbs. Ginger did not do this, but she will push the buttons to get the little walking man to cross the street or to open a door. So it's one of her best tricks. Well, to get the guide dog, when I first lost my vision, I was working closely with the CNIB mobility trainers, trying to get myself orientated. I was working with a white cane, And they were the ones who suggest I look into getting a guide dog, and they were able to provide me with all the information for the different guide dog places in Ontario and throughout Canada. As for the cost, amazingly enough, it cost me $1 to get her.
Wow, just one?
Just one, right at the end of your training. But it's quite intensive. There's one day where a trainer tries to hit you with a car just to see how your dog reacts. And thankfully, both of my dogs liked me enough at the time to not let me get hit by a car.
Of course, yes.
But, and really the only costs that came from going to Ottawa to get my dogs were, snacks, or if I wanted to go out for dinner, like personal costs. They fly you down, they fly you home, they make sure all the paperwork is ready, your dog comes right on the plane with you. You usually get priority seating, which is a nice perk.
And what happens when a guide dog retires, and at what age do guide dogs retire?
Most guide dogs will retire around 11, 10 or 11. It really depends on the dog. You kind of tell when they're starting to tire out. I was a stay-at-home mom when I first got Ginger, and then I went back to school, and then I started working in long-term care. So we went from living in this quiet little community on St. Joe's Island to walking 6 miles a day, and that seemed to wear her out quite a bit. So she just retired this year, and she's 9. And if there is a close family or friend that can take them, then we're allowed to pass them on to their. We're not allowed to keep them because we'll be getting a new dog, and we don't want any mixed emotions and hurt feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's with Ginger. I sent her to a close family friend, and they're loving her, and once they retire, they're no longer service animals. They are pets to be loved and cherished and spoiled rotten.
So Melissa just told me a cool thing, that guide dogs are allowed everywhere. You heard it right, everywhere, be it restaurants, malls, airplanes, everywhere. Now, how is it possible? What are the legal issues involved? Let's ask Melissa how it goes.
There is only one place that guide dogs are not allowed, and that would be a kitchen or like a restaurant, let's say, or when I worked in long-term care, the kitchen that cooked meals for the residents. Other than that, guide dogs are allowed anywhere that the public goes. I have identification cards that have our pictures on them and have the list of it's the Blind Person's Rights Act. And that way, if anybody has a problem with your dog, you can simply show them this card, and it states, if you deny us, you could be looking at, a $5,000 fine. And it just makes you look like a jerk, because especially in a small town like this, news travels fast, and especially if it's negative. So, but she flew home with me after we graduated, and it's like bringing a baby home for the first time, and they make a noise and you're like, wait, I don't think I can handle this. But most people are pretty excited to see a dog in a place where you would not normally see a dog, especially a well-trained, well-behaved dog. So the flight attendant had a really hard time keeping her hands off of her.
Oh yeah, I can.
And the pilots too. They want, and like, no, you just fly the plane. We'll see you after. The most important thing to know about guide dog etiquette is that when they are wearing a harness, you do not interact with them. They don't exist. They are doing their job, and if you distract them, you could cause big problems for the guide dog user. If I'm somewhere I don't know and I'm counting on her to get me to, from point A to point B, and you stop her to pet her or to take a picture with her, I mean, yes, they're cute and it's really hard to ignore them, but you've now caused me to lose my way and I don't know where I am anymore. And the whole point of having a guide dog is to have independence, and you don't feel very independent if you have to ask strangers how to get to a specific spot.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you for doing the video with us. It was wonderful to speak with you regarding guide dogs, and you're doing an awesome job raising awareness about them, because even we did not know a lot of things. And it was great meeting you, Shadow. I wish I could meet Ginger too, because Ginger is as beautiful as she sounds. Have a good day, Melissa, and thank you so much once again for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.